That's the Group 1 crew and a song called He Said. You're listening to Link FM 97.1. Time right now is 1:45. And as promised, the one and only Nataniel on the line. Nataniel, how are you doing?
I'm exhausted, but I'm fine. Hi.
Why are you exhausted?
This year's rough, man. This year's long, and...
You know, a lot of people are saying that. A lot of people have said this is one of the worst years they've had.
No, it's a fantastic year. It just doesn't stop. And for somebody my age and with such a drinking problem as I have, it is hectic getting through all the shows. But I'm enjoying what I do.
You're not old. Come on.
I'm really old. If you go and look on my website when I started, then you can make a few
83.
very disturbing sums.
Your website's wrong, by the way. It says 84, doesn't it? Or 85. Didn't you started back in 83?
Yes, but I released my first
album
recordings in 87.
Okay. Alrighty. So if you go back to 83, when you first started your stage presentations, that's like 29 years ago.
Yeah, it's scary.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Listen, before we get into the career and everything, I want to ask you a question. I want to take you back to when you were, say, 10 years old. Little boy of 10. Primary school. What did Nataniel want to be one day when he was big?
World famous. That didn't work out, but I'm still happy.
Well, you South African famous.
I always wanted to perform. That was all I did. I think the first time I tried to walk, it was in my grandmother's stilettos. And I still haven't heard from the rest of the family. Only my parents were strong enough. But I remember that since childhood there were shows, especially Christmas when the whole family was with my parents. And we had this Christmas concert, and I was Mary and Joseph and Jesus and the three wise men and Liza Minnelli. I was just everybody, and I put on these big shows and things.
Did you ever enter talent shows or anything as a kid?
No.
Not?
No. I always knew instinctively what I'm doing is not at that time what was acceptable, what was the norm, or what was commercial, or whatever. So I never had the need or the energy to enter those kind of things. I mean, it's like, what do you call these things where people stand in a row? It's like idols.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that. What do you think? What does you as Nataniel personally think of the whole idols thing and the X Factor and the overnight fame type of thing?
Well, very few people, they make it, but very few people last. You know, it's a syndrome, the whole reality TV and the whole thing about food, the competitions like MasterChef and all that stuff. Yeah. I don't associate, like with food, I don't associate food with stress and tension. So that stuff is ridiculous. But I know there's millions of people who know that they won't get a chance. I believed always in hard work. It wasn't easy the first 10 years until something happened. Nobody would sign me, so then I realized I have to do it myself. And you just work, you sing for one person, and next night there are two, and so you went on and built a foundation which nobody can take away from you. Also, that's the only route to go if you want to work without management. And all these idiots that surround you and tell you what to do, they also don't really know, but they built them. Those things are not as successful in South Africa as it is in America, who's got a machinery behind them. You win idols here, you get $3, and so I'm recording. I am friends with a lot of performers who have won things like that, and it didn't work out like that. A few, like Heinz Winkler, has made it into, because they realized after a year or two, you can't just attend social events and look cute. You have to work. And also in South Africa, having a record out or producing an album means nothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't sell unless you're on stage every night. In South Africa, an album, I don't know of a single person who became rich of a hit or a song.
Yeah.
You have to work. We are in the third world, and here our culture is different. We work. You work every day.
You've had 15 albums, released?
I think so.
According to the website, 15 albums. Nataniel, tell me, what genre would you say you fit into when it comes to music? And now I'll tell you why I'm asking that.
I think of myself, but I think it doesn't always sound like that, but that's what I listen to is soul music and blues, and that's what I sing the best. And that's not really what you record on your albums because there's not a radio market for that. But if I had my way, I would only sing jazz and soul and blues. That is what I listen to, and I listen to vocalists. I'm not really into the pop market, and I'm 300 years old and I don't have a radio. I have never listened to a hit. I listen. People will phone me and say, there's a new voice. You have to hear this woman. You have to hear this girl. And then I will go and find them. So it's very vocal driven.
Who do you listen to when you do listen to music?
I listen to Patti LaBelle, who's the mother of all singing. She's disturbing to some people because she doesn't know the end of the volume. And she always says, Jesus said, sing, Patti, and I'm singing. I'm not going to sing soft. So it's a bit much for some people, but I believe if you want to sing, use your range, use your volume, use your color, use whatever you've got. And I really listen to a lot of American singers, female singers. Male singers bore me. But
I've read that you've said that. You say that a woman's voice is a lot more interesting than a male's voice.
If a man sings high, it sounds like he's got a problem. If he sings low, you can't hear him. So there's nothing exciting there. I don't care. Other people seem to like it. That's why they come to my shows. But I listen to females. Also, they dress better and they dress more exciting. And when a woman sings low, it's very sexy. And when she sings high, it's the most exciting thing in the world. She just mustn't sing soft, then she loses me. But and I love the hairdo and the nails and the drama and the outfits and the shoes and the stuff. I'm very much into mature singers, you know, like Patti, like Aretha, like once the voice is settled in. These little girls who wiggle around on a music video does nothing for me.
Okay. Now listen, you've mentioned style. You say you love the hair, you love the style, you like the elegance and everything. How did you get involved with Boerewors?
I didn't get involved with Boerewors. I am the face of Checkers. I'm a Checkers ambassador for many, many years. And Boerewors is just one of the things. We also do the wine route. I also do wine next, the wine festivals. I do a lot with cheese. Checkers, I do a lot with child welfare, toys for toys. The thing is with Boerewors, because it's a competition, it's very prominent in the public. There are more than 40,000 people who enter this competition. And they spend the most money on advertising this whole thing. That is why the little bit I do, Boerewors takes a week, a year out of my system or my time. But the thing is that it's so prominent and the advertising is so big that people think it's just that. But it's in the full year that I work for Checkers, Boerewors is very little. Okay,
good. Because the Nataniel Tafel is really very popular at the moment. What was it like to do that? What's it like to be in front of a camera in a kitchen?
Hate it. It is just very bad. I picked up a lot of weight because I'm not a trained chef, so I eat everything I cook. And you look old and you look fat, and it was disturbing to watch it back. I do not TV. It is the most unkind medium there is. But it was sort of a logic next step in the food because of all the advertising and the food demos at the festivals and the cookbooks. It's the next thing you do. We are grateful that it's the #1 show on CakeNet. Millions of people suddenly just hooked onto the show. So I'm having great fun. I finished shooting it already in May, so it's like history. I haven't seen an episode because I'm on stage at night, but people love it. So if I could make somebody happy, then it's good.
Nataniel, the reason it is popular is simply because it's you. That is the truth. But when you think of your career and you look at your career, you're a mysterious person. You're a quiet person. I've read that you say you're very shy, you're reserved, you don't get involved in the industry, the red carpets, the tabloids, all that sort of stuff. So how do you account for the popularity that you have? Because you are incredibly popular, but without all the social networks and stuff.
I still think I'm visible because I work every night. If I have my highlight of a year is a free night. If I'm not working, I'm at home. I barely see my friends, and I fly all over the world because my family is spread like a virus all over the earth. So I have to fly a lot to see them. And so my time is precious. I work. I stand in front of people every day and every night. So I stay visible, but it's not with social happenings and party and the so-called celebrity nonsense. I find it very boring.
And do you see it as work, or do you see it as a responsibility, or what, when you're on stage?
I do. I started out as a rebel. A lot of things have changed, and especially when I started working with children's organizations and stuff. And then my Sari column started, and I realized that especially the Afrikaans-speaking people need confirmation, people need hope, and people need a spokesperson. Not that I'm one of those, but I do think people cling on to somebody who has a voice and whose voice is positive. I love being a rebel. I loved singing half naked in stilettos, but those days are over, and the world is at another place. The protest days are over. We now have to, it's a very broken world, and if you have some kind of pedestal, although it's very small, you need to spend it making the world better, or healing, or just I always say it's not a big thing, and I don't put anything to any government because I don't trust them. But if you make the lives better of the people around you, or just when you leave a room you have made people laugh or feel better, or shift the boundaries, or just changed a little bit of the energy. My mother says it's because I'm an idiot, but I'm very positive.
A positive idiot.
No, I'm like that. If I see a light, it's never for me a train coming. It's always a Christmas tree at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. So we come from a family like that. If an aeroplane falls through the roof, we'll first finish eating and then see what the damage is.
And that's what the Nataniel Progress Project is all about, isn't it? Not the aeroplane, but about caring. Tell me about that.
Yeah. We help children. I was ambassador for child welfare for 8 years, but there's too much government involvement, which is just a lot of red tape, and the children comes last. So I have decided to start my own foundation. There are many companies, big businesses and stuff that trust me, and they know that every cent goes there. I have the infrastructure to run it so that I don't have people to pay people's salaries. They already work in my company, and we help the underprivileged and the abused and stuff, but also the other end of the spectrum. South Africa is losing a lot of skills, so there are very bright students who suddenly, because of death or finances or other problems, cannot finish their studies. We try and pay their studies. There are many children, especially in art and music, who get invited to enter overseas competitions, but they cannot afford the plane ticket or something. We try to help them. Okay. And then from 2013, we're also going to try crisis management, I don't know what is the word, for elderly people. I'm not usually helping elderly people. I always think you had 60 years to make a plan. But sometimes because of the husband dying, somebody needs an operation. You can't send them to a government hospital because it's death in itself. So we try to pay crisis things, not all the time, but if somebody urgently needs help for the elderly, I need to do that as well.
What makes you cry?
Oprah Winfrey, when she gives somebody a house. My weight when I bath.
Oh, come on.
I'm very upset I bath with a shirt now. And, I cry. I'm not a sad crier. I cry when I get scared that something will happen to one of my godchildren. I cry when they go on holiday. I'm very stupid with that. I need to have contact with them all the time. And then I cry sometimes out of happiness. I cried a lot this year because my dad had a massive stroke, and that was he miraculously recovered after almost 10 days in a coma.
Wow.
He has got no scars left or anything.
That's awesome.
And he's almost 80, so it was a miracle. But I cried a lot during that time out of fear.
Yep. And what makes you laugh?
I come from a family that laugh. I have very great friends. I'm not a person who tells jokes. I forget the punchline, and I don't really laugh at jokes, but I have really funny friends, and I'm friends with the actors like Marion Holm and people like that who are very funny people. But it's my friends. I have very funny, not strange, but funny. Funny people. When we sit around the table, we have heartburn from laughing.
Listen, you say you don't tell jokes. Your stories aren't jokes, but they do make people laugh because I think people identify.
I think it's maybe the timing of how I speak, and I do notice little funny things in a story, but it's a throwaway. My story doesn't have a punchline. The punchline is the song that follows.
Okay.
But I can never go and do a stand-up show because I don't know how to end without a song. So if I join a comedy festival and do stand-up, I will be on stage for 3 days.
Listen, talk about stand-up. I've got a problem with a lot of stand-up comedians in South Africa, and I don't class you as a stand-up comedian, okay? But why is it that people need to use really foul language on stage in order to be funny? Why do you see that so much?
People do it a lot. I sometimes accidentally use a strong word, which I try not to do. It's never in my script, but sometimes I talk improv and then something slips out. But it is a very cheap way and an easy way of making people laugh. And as long as people laugh about it, comedians will keep doing it. It is sometimes you get insecure. Well, sometimes in a song, what happens is that you sing a song and halfway through the song you just feel no energy back from the audience, and then you get insecure and you start singing too loud. You overperform the song. And the same thing happens with stand-up comedians. They do not get the jokes, they do not get the thing, and then suddenly I think some of them are just foul. I've met one or two in South Africa that are just the vilest people. And themselves, they are like that all the time. But some of them get panicky, and they know that is a safe mattress to fall on. So
it's almost like a nervous reaction type of thing.
Yeah, and it's an easy thing. It's for some of them who do not care. They use. I cannot go all that way because I think my parents will die when they hear it, or there are always some godchild of me in the audience or standing backstage or something. It scares me. That's what upset me most, is that there are many vile jokes and stories on the internet being passed around as mine.
Yes, tell me about that. I see there's a thing on your website.
And I had to put a thing on the website to say that it is not mine. If I write a story or a joke, I will publish it and make money. My stuff is not available for free and passed around. So a lot of people, I think, scared somebody won't read something they wrote. Other people just think, especially people who do not know my material or don't read my books, you can see in 2 lines, it's not my way of writing, it's not my timing, it's not how I phrase. That upsets me when my own friends say, "Did you write this?"
Yeah.
So that happens all the time. It is illegal, but what can you do? I have just put this little manifesto on my website to say that it wasn't done by me.
Yeah. And you also say there that you don't do Facebook and Twitter.
I don't have the time. I don't know where. I think if you sit in a cubicle, maybe, and that's your job, and you get bored, you do that. But I am on an aeroplane, or in the garden, or in the shops, or on stage. I don't know where people do it and what you put on there. It's nobody's business.
Yeah.
It is a strange. It's powerful. It's huge. I know there's a Facebook site for my TV show with millions of people going there, and I know there's a fan Facebook thing which I've got nothing to do with. But it scares me. It is too big for me. It is too. I know even the world's most biggest people tweet and whatever that stuff is about. I just bought this handbag, and I want to say, who cares?
Yeah.
That is scary for me.
Tell me, tonight, how did last night go, by the way? Opening
Very
night.
well. I was shocked because last night consisted of new material that I'm not practicing, that I want to get lived under my fingers for my Christmas production. So I was quite nervous. There were a lot of new songs and stories, and it went incredibly well.
Very nice. And are there books and CDs and everything on sale?
There are books and CDs and stuff there in the foyer.
Awesome. And tonight, 7:30. Yeah, it is 7:30 at the Guild. Nataniel, out of all the questions you've ever been asked in your life, in wrapping up, and a lot of them probably very predictable. What is the one question that you've always wished somebody would ask you, that someone would give you the opportunity to answer?
It's not so much a question. Nobody in 30 years has ever talked about my singing.
Yep.
It's like I'm a singer. I've made 50 albums and I do shows. When the show comes up and there's a review, they talk about the material, the jokes, the set, the costumes, the thing. Nobody's ever said, and I don't think I've got a pretty voice, but there's enough of that in the world. I think I'm a really good singer. I work at my craft, but I've never heard a word in my... Maybe people are very kind. They just want to say, for many people, I think, are from the jokes and the stories, and the song is like an advertisement where you can go to the bathroom in between.
Why do you think? Why? Why do you think it's
I
like
think
that?
because I don't sing commercial stuff, and because I don't sing hits, and I've never had a pop hit myself or anything. I sing songs that is vocally meaty, I don't know how to say. Songs that move me vocally. That's what I sing.
That's why I asked right at the beginning. You've had 15 albums, but and although you're incredibly popular in so many different genres in South Africa, the music has never really taken off. There's a good lot of people who love my music, and the CDs sell good. They sell well. I will never make a CD before the other one is not profitable and worth my while. I can do other things with my money. Do you need radio to play it?
Yeah, I don't really, you see, it's like, if I don't read a magazine, I don't care about being in it. So, because I don't have a radio, in my car I listen to it, but I listen to DVDs where I learn the words of songs. And choose music for my shows and stuff. I don't really care about it. It's also like, it feels to me, because I have a radio program on RSG, it feels like I am on the radio. And I know they playlist it, and Jack Aranda plays a lot of my music, and I've heard it in shops and stuff, but it is like it's like there's a general thing for, oh, shame, let him sing, he's going to tell a nice joke now. While the singing, but it's the only bit I really enjoy.
And you create it as well. You write everything you sing? Mostly?
Not everything. I write half of it, and I do a lot of covers, old songs, which I rearrange.
And where is the music available? Can we buy it in a normal, like, Musica or?
Yeah, no, it's in shops, it's in my shops, and most people order it on Kalahari, and all my music can be downloaded.
Okay.
I sell most at the moment. Last year I sold more downloads than albums.
Wow, that's awesome.
Especially under the expats overseas, most of our sales are international.
Okay. Nataniel, I could talk all day, but I'll probably get silenced. But listen, all the best for tonight.
Thank you, y'all.
Hope it goes really, really well. And where are you off to after tonight?
Tomorrow night we're performing in Johannesburg, and then Sunday I'm putting up the set for my Christmas show. Monday night we open in Pretoria with Pop Up, the Christmas show. Wonderful.
What are you doing for Christmas, by the way?
I am in Penda, where I've never been. Then I'm going to Christmas Eve. I'm with my family in Cape Town, and then I'm flying to France to visit my youngest brother.
Wonderful. Awesome. And is there a new CD on the horizon?
We've done 2 tracks for an album. I haven't done an album in 4 or 5 years. So we're doing an album that will come out middle of next year.
Okay. Natania, all the best. Oh, wait. One more thing. I'm like Columbo. Always one more thing. I wanted to ask you earlier, you don't fit the mold. Okay, that's quite obvious. Whatever the mold is, you don't fit the mold. And there are lots of people listening this afternoon. There might be 1 or 2 young people listening who've got dreams. They've got dreams of music and all sorts of stuff. What can you say to them? They may feel they don't fit in, but they have this dream. What can you say to them?
Have staying power. Because of all the reality TV, and because of somebody sings 2 songs at an art festival and then gets a recording contract, people, and especially the youth, have forgotten about that thing of keeping on. I remember in my early days, I made costumes out of duvet covers. I cut up my own bed linen at some point. At some point, I didn't have a fridge. I used to go to the cafe in the corner, get milk, make tea, and then go back to the cafe and put my milk in the fridge until I need it again. Once I fainted at a thing because I haven't eaten in 2 days. I used to go to all the opening events because there were snacks. And there is a hard time. Everybody deserves and needs to go through a hard time. Otherwise, you never appreciate anything once it happens.
Quite right.
Do not give up. People, there's a culture now, a pop culture of, I'm going to try, but then I'm just going to give up.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
And that's what you've been doing for 29 years.
Yeah, I've had 29 years, of which 20 were excellent.
Mm-hmm.
The first 9 was tough.
But you had to go through those to get to the rest.
I never had a second option. I would die of hunger rather than work in a restaurant and do anything that my heart tells me I was not called for.
Mm-hmm.
And the world has changed a lot. The world has changed a lot. There's much more space for anything now. If you want to be a lesbian who plays golf with your left hand while you're blindfolded, there is a magazine and a golf course for you. The world is very diverse now.
Okay. Nataniel, all the best. We'll see you tonight. I'll be there tonight.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of East London. And thank you for visiting us. Thank you for believing in East London.
Yeah, sitting in a beautiful suite here and I'm looking at the sea.
Awesome. Enjoy. Thanks, Nataniel. All the best. Bye-bye.